Hey there, guys. This is Rich.
This is Jules.
And we're from Epic Game Nights, again here with a late night discussion. And me and Jules were sitting around and we were like, you know what? This is enough. We have to talk about this. We need to talk about this. We need to speak about the metagame.
The metagame in Smash 4, the most underdeveloped metagame in the Smash community at the present moment.
Yes, with our dial-up combos and our very low-tech technology from the past, which is the future.
We're getting rocks and sticks, man.
Rocks and sticks. This is
We're doing it.
So yeah, we're just poking a little bit of fun here. We were actually sitting down talking about it, and we decided to make a video about it this time around. The metagame. I know we talked about it before, and we had a couple of points that we wanted to bring through and see what you guys thought about it as well. You know, so what are your concerns about the metagame, Jules?
Now, as far as the metagame, like I know we covered it in the last time we did speak about it, but I think it's like a very, even though it's been crazy spoken of, people are like popping off with a tier list. People like Nairo are doing surprising things with characters like Dr. Mario and shit like that in tournaments. But I still feel in this specific game, in this specific moment, it's still a very under talked about tournament. Not tournament, like this very under talked about subject, but not because it hasn't been spoken of, but just because it hasn't been spoken of in an expansive way.
Yeah.
Like there's such a huge tier list, and when you put in the work, there's so much stuff to be done with different characters that have not even gotten any airplay whatsoever, and we just see surprising stuff like the Dr. Mario thing. But we gotta wait for it to happen to believe that it can happen with the characters that we like.
Okay, and then when you're talking about the Dr. Mario thing, what specifically are you talking about?
Oh yeah, basically it's the MLG tournament where Nairo faced off the tournament that he beat Zero. He also beat Esam, a respectable, known Pikachu player, definitely part of the top community. Also, he has a losing record with Esam. Like Nairo, in most tournaments, Esam takes him.
Esam is the gatekeeper. He's the one that's knocking him out.
That's the one that Nairo just can't usually face. But in this specific tournament, what happened was that Nairo took it back. And a lot of people are saying like, oh, he's a great player. Dr. Mario could be seen as a counter pick. But let's not talk about counter picks. We're talking about people that were not characters that were completely on the opposite side, according to popular opinion, of the metagame spectrum. We see a Dr. Mario versus a Pikachu. We're in no conceivable mind, based on the current metagame, anybody could have seen this happening. And what happened, Dr. Mario took him by surprise. Not only by surprise, but pulling off some good Mario tech, good Dr. Mario tech. And not only that, but just like literally defeating, convincingly, Esam's Pikachu and his Samus. Like he had to bring out the Samus, also beat the shit out of the Samus.
I'm a little bit sad about the little Samus thing. He really whooped him really bad. He sent them home crying, and it was convincing. And after that, Nairo was on a roll on that day. So, and it makes me think too. Characters like Pac-Man, Abadongo, if I'm not mistaken, that's his name. He plays a really sick, respectable Pac-Man, and it makes me see that this game, first of all, very early. A lot of things, this game might not even be played the same in the next 3 months. Definitely not going to be played the same way in the next year.
Wait till the characters come out, because also, quick segue, the character ballot, supposedly they're going to unleash that. Rumors I've heard online, they're going to unleash that by the end of this month, or by the start of next month. So that's soon. Today's what, the 28th?
Yeah.
And that's going to happen soon, very, very soon. So we can expect that at any moment right now.
And then whenever that happens, we will be discussing that here.
Of course. More deepness in the matter.
Yeah, of course. It's late night. It's almost midnight. And we're going to discuss it whenever it happens.
We're ready for anything.
Yeah. So we had a couple of points here that we wanted to bring to the table, talk a little bit about it. And since the metagame is early, it's a little bit, I would say, underdeveloped right now. We're all putting in the work, developing our characters. Not everybody is, MLG class right now, but we also take the opinions of other people very seriously, especially those who are winning the tournaments. So what do you feel about that all important opinion that, top players have, and how people are, reacting to it?
I think there's an overdependence of in the professional opinion. There are people that are going to tournaments, but if you think about it, people that are voicing their opinions, for example, Zero. Zero is a recognized Sheik player and a recognized DD player. Zero is an excellent player in general, but what's going on with Zero, he's only one perspective in a very early metagame, and he's one of the few that are actually voicing his opinions on YouTube.
Yeah.
Actually taking the medium to voice his opinions in an intricate style. Not only that, what he focuses on, even though he has a lot of pocket characters that he uses and he studies, the ones he uses the most are Sheik and DD Kong. So even though I do respect his opinion a lot, his main proficiency is going to be with Sheik and DD Kong.
Yeah, so the point of view is going to be innately biased because of that.
Yeah, no, just like, exactly. It's like, those are the characters you use the most. So even if you're being very objective, it's difficult to be 100% objective when you're coming from your perspective reality, and the characters you use are, as said, Sheik and DD Kong. My utmost respect to Zero. I definitely respect his opinion. He's one of the most, definitely, I'd say, by far the most avid YouTube user voicing his opinions when it comes to the Smash 4 community. I'd say he's by far the most avid, because Esam also has a channel, but he doesn't really post as much as Zero does. Nairo, I really don't see a lot of stuff. The BG Bootcamp guys, I've seen a few things, but nothing too major. You see people, J-Tails also, he does a lot of guides and stuff like that. But there's a lot of people that don't voice as many of their opinions as Zero does. But again, Zero is just one guy, and we've seen him change his opinions on the past. Which is another thing that I want to talk about, which is like the constant change of opinions, not only in the professional scene, but in the general. Like when you see YouTube comments, I just love watching all the comments online just to see like everybody voicing their opinion. Because also, shout outs to the world, to the entire world, because I feel the world is becoming slightly less ignorant. Like, you know how usually people would take the online scene to just like insult and that's it? No. I mean it in the most beautiful way possible, because like 5, 6, 7 years ago, you could not go online without running into a whole bunch of people that would just like openly offend you and just be extremely offensive and mean. And that still happens, obviously, but like lately, it's like people just like they don't want to fight as much. They're like, when they say something and they come off ignorant, they're like, dude, you're being a hater. And then he's like, no, I'm sorry, I didn't want to be a hater. Like, you see that a lot online. Like, people are like more weary of what they're saying. They don't want to really offend in that direct way.
The internet is maturing. It's becoming a young adult.
It is becoming a young adult, and people are nicer. It's very enlightening. But going to that, just based on that whole objective reaction that I'm seeing lately, people are constantly changing their opinions. They go from thinking their character is complete crap to seeing him in one tournament and being like, oh, he's viable. And then you see a whole bunch of people popping off like, oh, about time you noticed that, because I've been practicing with this character in the lab for like 6 months now, and I knew he was viable a long time ago. And it's like, you see that constantly. There's always a back and forth of opinions. The top players do that. The minor players do that. Everybody's going tournament and not going to tournament. They're all doing this. So I really feel that's only a demonstration that things have not been demonstrated enough when people are going back and forth that way.
Yeah, especially when you see very unusual characters just come out of nowhere and take victories. Again, you mentioned the Dr. Mario, widely thought worst character. He has a lot of good things, and it's not only the character, it's the person who's using the character and somehow just got the keys and unlocked that potential in that moment where it just takes the person by surprise. And it's a relief to see everybody gets excited, super hype. Whenever you got a crappy character, they're like nobody likes. It's like, oh, this character sucked, and all of a sudden, hey, this character is now winning tournaments. This character is getting more recognition. This character has actually some sick tech.
Fucking Dr. Mario in top 8. You saw Dr. Mario in top 8. A Samus in top 8. Of course, he got demolished by Dr. Mario. But, that could also be attributed to the fact that Nairo was on fucking fire. He was on fire that day. So it's like he was not having any of anything. He was like, I'm going to just pound this shit out. I'm just going to, let everybody have it.
No, and it's like, again, it's refreshing to see. And it makes me think of that, the trendsetters of the metagame, the people who pushed that level forward, the people who shaped the metagame with their hands are all these brave explorers of the game. These people who are going out to tournaments and practicing, these people who are going for glory and practicing, these people who are just going over the matches in their heads, going to training, putting in the work, putting in testing over and over and over, drawing all over again. Because, hey, man, not for nothing. Whenever you're exploring something completely new, it hurts.
Yeah.
And then, you get these people who already explored these Sheiks and they explored all these other characters and then start winning. Hey, man, that's a path that's been traveled before. Now, the real people who really shaped the metagame are the two people. Those who actually explored it and are dominating, and those who are actually just lying somewhere hidden, and then all of a sudden they pop up and then just say they change the face of the game.
And it stuck to it, because there's also a certain psychology behind using a quote-unquote top tier or low tier character. Like, because, for example, if you're top tier, you kind of don't really have an excuse in your mind. You're like, the only thing you can say, like, no, it's proven. Everybody agrees that this character is the god. So if I lost, I just lost. It's like, that's it. There's always this back and forth in our mind when we use a low tier character, because we can always fall back on the excuse that, oh, I'm low tier. This is a difficult matchup. So we fall into this excuse making mindset, and we're like, oh no, my character's just lame. Why did I pick a lame ass character like this? And we can fall into these patterns just because the general consensus is that is a bad character. So we don't have just one excuse like, oh, I played bad. No, we have two excuses. I play bad and my character sucks.
And then that's when you change your name to John. And then you sit on the bench and then you're like, hi, my name is John and I like to make excuses to why I lost. Really, don't
weak ass character.
Don't be that
guy.
No, stop it. You don't be that guy.
My lameness is my.
No, sometimes you lose some matches. Sometimes you need to learn and reevaluate what you're doing. But we need to be clear. Sometimes those characters will have some weaknesses. But don't be that guy that says, hey, my character sucks, blah, blah, blah,
So I have all the right to lose these tournaments and make excuses for it. Like, there's that psychology behind the fact that you're using a lower tier character, and you can fall back on that. Like, I see that also a lot online where people are just like, dude, you guys are so lucky you don't have a low tier character like me. Like, it's like they revel in the fact that they can just...
I won once and it's enough. But this makes me think, though. It makes me think. Because, all right, the game gets tested a long time in-house with the developers, right? So they play the characters in a certain way. They try to balance it out as much as possible. Now, in what way are these people playing with these characters that they think the weak ones are good enough? Because I know that once the game gets into people's hands, they mold it into something completely different than their vision, and that's what's beautiful about it. But at the same time, what kind of stuff were they using or doing, like, to make them think, hey, this character is perfect? Is there some, like, unseen technology that nobody is releasing out there?
I'm not entirely sure of unseen technology, although I'm not against it at all. Like, I really do feel like, in a place where everything is so underdeveloped, yes, this is an extreme possibility. I think it's a matter of clicking with a character, just really enjoying your time with the character. Like right now, like characters that I have like full blast that I really enjoy using, I can say Kirby, Donkey Kong, Mewtwo. I enjoy Joshi. I enjoy
Got that Falco play.
Oh my god, Falco, that's the one I forgot. Yeah, Falco's so fun. Actually, on another note, I actually played against this really boss Falco online. Completely demolished me, but he was pulling out some crazy ass Falco tech, like his down air canceling on spot. He was like doing his canceled up air, like running up air, and just doing a lot of good stuff. They just comboed right, and it just made the character look so top tier. When he was using it, it was like, shit's going down. I've never seen Falco be used this way. So I found that very impressive.
And just to think also, like, the game is still pretty young. Thanks to the internet, any kind of information just floats out there right away. So when it comes to, for example, Melee, we got 14 years of discovering technology and all that. We didn't have the internet like that back in the day. And not everybody was in the competitive scene. This is also a new revolution that's happening. But nowadays, everything is out there. So who knows who's actually doing some sort of new tech that nobody knows about. Because sometimes, and this has been seen again, you know, I've been a long Street Fighter follower. Some people were doing these techniques that are used nowadays, and they didn't even know they were doing it. And they didn't even have a name. They were just doing it.
Doing stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, that's tech, dude. What? I just called it stuff. It was just stuff I did.
So it's like, you think your hand is just doing a normal thing? No, maybe you have something special on you. So some people can use that to their advantage. Sometimes people don't even use it. Maybe sometimes they forget about it, you know. But I think throughout the time, we're going to start seeing a lot more. Again, the thanks to the internet, again, we can get these updates, we can get new patches. It makes the game fresh. It makes the game like feel new at times, or a little bit different, spiced up a little bit for all of us who've been playing for a long time. So I actually, you know, I want to see where this is all gonna end up. Like, hey man, let's go for it. Let's predictions in the next year. Which two characters do you think are gonna actually turn around the tier list? Because I think the tier list is the breathing embodiment of the metagame and where it's at right then and there. So, like, if you had to guess two characters that would revolutionize this with the character set that we have right now, nothing new. Smash Ballot, when it comes out, we're gonna talk about it in the future. But who do you think at one point or another might revolutionize the tier list?
To me, this is extremely hard to say, because we're like at a place where basically the ones that are, it kind of goes back to that whole psychology thing. When you're using a low tier character, even if you like them, you kind of fall back onto this excuse like, oh yeah, I'm using a low tier character, so it's perfectly fine for me to lose all these games and just cry afterwards because it's a bad character, so I deservedly so I can do this. But there's just so many surprises that can happen. You know, like you saw the Dr. Mario thing. But if I were to mention two characters that I feel have potential to do great things, from what I've seen, this is just like my opinion, Ryu and Peach. If like, just off top, like two characters, because those are characters that are, a lot of people believe they have the potential to be very high tier, but I feel they have such a steep learning curve. Like I actually wanted to kind of like do like a guide system, like, you know, a guides, but actually mention in the guides like what's your character's like entry level. Like for example, like people like characters like Mario or Nez are fairly simple characters. They're very straightforward. You know, they're viable characters. They're very usable. They have like outright good stuff that you can use, very easy combos. But then there are characters like Ryu and Peach, where to get into the intricacies of the character, you really got to put in that work. Like, you know, to do those turnip combos with Peach, into the parasol and all that stuff, and keep it floating, you know, like when you're in float mode and then you're like on the floor and just like mix and match it, and just to go to the deepness of what Peach has to offer, or Ryu. Ryu has like, depending on how hard you tap the buttons, that's like, he's a Street Fighter 4 character translated into Smash World. Like, if you go down into the intricacies, but if you look at them on paper, if you actually manage to use them completely, they're very good characters. And that happens so much. Like, I've seen some crazy stuff with Bowser Jr. I've seen some crazy stuff with Mr. Game & Watch. A lot of people think he's very slept on in the metagame. There's just so much to be done. And even more so, maybe the low tiers. Like, for example, like, Samus was regarded not too long ago as being like one of the worst characters in the metagame, but some people have actually put in some work with him, and they're seeing like, I don't know, maybe we're just sleeping on this character, but he's got some stuff. Like, what about Luigi? Like, you know, like Samus is considered to be a great Luigi counter. Like, Luigi is one of the top tiers, but Samus kind of like between Zaire and his charge shot, there's not much Luigi can do, because the fireball cannot face the charge shot. And he doesn't really have much against the Zaire. You know, like, Luigi can't just get in like that when he's just being spaced out with the Zaire.
And I remember at one point when Luigi just recently came out, and they were like, is he the answer to Sheik? Because his forward air would come out so fast. So it's really interesting to see how a character, like, apparently came out of nowhere and then was like, hey, this character's really strong, and now there's an answer to that with another character. Like, it's really cool to see. I would say, and then real quickly, my two picks would be, and this is at random, Palutena and King DDD. Palutena is a character a lot of people sleep on. I have witnessed with my own pain and my own stocks how this character can be very good. Not easy to go into. You have to be playing on point, but I think this character has some potential to actually really come in there. And I'm not talking about custom moves or anything like that. I think this character, yeah, this character has a lot of interesting things. We might see some people come up with this character. And King DDD, I think the forward B tech.
Great fair too. Like Falzina has a great fucking fair. Like it's a great poke into it. Like you can get in there with the fair, man.
I think King DDD is really going to be good with the forward B tech and all that. And I want to ask you guys, so you can put it in the comment section below, and you can put it on my Twitter, wherever you want. Show us. This is the request of the week. Show us 2 characters that you think can go up in the tier list based on some matches you've seen. Post those videos on the comment section. We'll check out the videos. We'll go ahead and review them. We'll talk about them in future videos, and we'll see what's going on. I want to see what you guys are doing.
Our 2 most slept on characters, the ones you think everybody's sleeping on, where they might just surprise everybody out.
So doesn't have to be 2. It can be 1. Whatever characters you think we're sleeping on, everybody's been sleeping on. Show us something, even if it's you. Even if it's your character, you think everybody's been sleeping on it, make a video, show me what you got. We'll go ahead and discuss about it, and see what is the videos that we like. So I think this is gonna be it for today's late night discussion. Again, this was Rich.
This is Jules,
and we're signing off.